The picture was very different just a week ago. But a week can be a long time in cricket, and hasn't this been a week of utter turmoil in Indian women's cricket? Just a week after being eliminated from the Women's World T20, their most successful Women's World T20, where they reached the semi-finals, all the talk around the Indian women's cricket team is about what has transpired ever since. You know the basics. Mithali Raj, India's senior-most batswoman, is axed for the semi-final. India go on to lose against England. Captain Harmanpreet Kaur defends her decision, says it was based in cricketing logic. But it is the can of worms which has opened ever since the Indians returned to India from the West Indies, which has shaken the fabric of Indian women's cricket, almost undoing the good of the last 16 months. What has happened in these 16 months? It began with India reaching a Women's World Cup final for only the second time in history and the first time in 12 years. Then came this Women's World T20, where they made the semi-finals after 8 years, in the process defeating the world number 1 ranked Australia and then world number 2 ranked New Zealand to top the group. Yet all you talk about in the last week is what has happened off the field. An email sent by Mithali Raj to BCCI CEO Rahul Johri and GM Sabah Karim is leaked. One will perhaps never know how or why, but it is leaked, it is out for the world to see. Then comes coach Ramesh Pawar, who doesn't have the greatest words to say for the senior most player in the Indian team. All of this dirty laundry being washed in public for the world to see. The question you've got to ask is, would the same happen with the men's cricket team? They too had a pretty famous or infamous coach versus captain saga just a year ago, right? When Virat Kohli and Anil Kumble couldn't look each other in the eye. Would you have imagined the words of either party being leaked to the media? It's a point which was raised by former India cricketer Snehal Pradhan, who's now also a famous broadcaster, where she said, so Mithali Raj writes an email to the BCCI rather than venting to the press. That email is then leaked to the press. I mean, we all want women's cricket to get the same treatment as the men, but not like this. Sure, the Indian men's team has also grappled issues of this kind, where things haven't been managed all too well by the management, by senior players, by a coach, by the board. But usually it has coincided with lower ebbs. You think of Chappell versus Ganguly, that happened when India had its worst World Cup ever in 2007. You think about Kohli versus Kumble from last year, and that happened after defeat to Pakistan in a Champions Trophy final, which, let's face it, no one in the country liked. But with the Indian women's team, all this has happened at perhaps its highest point in the history of the women's game. That's a point made by Harsha Bhogle, who said, deeply disheartened by the drama playing out in our women's cricket at a time when it is looking up like never before. This is a great opportunity being squandered. All teams have differences within. It is the job of managers to nip them in the bud. Mithali Raj, in her leaked email, spoke about being deflated and let down by the events that transpired in the West Indies. But really, it is the entire team of 15 plus one Pooja Vastrakar, who was withdrawn due to injury, who were playing their hearts out in the West Indies, who are the people who should feel let down. Because 1 week on from such a riveting performance on the field, what is it that we remember? This. No one remembers Smriti Mandhana smashing Australia in the group stage, ensuring that a 12-match winning streak was ended by an Indian team which ended up topping the group. No one remembers young Jemima Rodriguez, who became the youngest player to hit a half-century in Women's World T20 history in the opening game against New Zealand. In that same game, the Indian captain Harmanpreet Kaur hit the first 100 by an Indian batter in Women's T20 eyes. But all that she will be remembered for from this World T20 is her decision to drop Mithali Raj. Mithali Raj herself hit 2 half-centuries the 2 times she batted, in the process becoming India's leading run-getter in T20 eyes, female or male. None of that will be remembered. All of it is forgotten. Indian cricket really did not need this. The Indian women's cricket team really did not deserve this.